Hello, my name is Jimmy Kruse, and today I will be presenting my personal roadmap for our entrepreneurship class, Create, Lead, and Own You. We were given the task to design a personal roadmap to kind of do a reflection of what we really took out of our class, Create, Lead, and Own You, and what aspects were the most important to us. And I picked changing through learning. Throughout our class, this short 5-week class, we were challenged to go out into the field and actually put ourselves out there, meet customers, create a new venture, come up with a quick business plan to try and use whatever materials we had to turn it around and better ourselves as entrepreneurs. We were challenged to use what we were given. We reflected on what we did each week. We created our own business model, and those are some of the things that we will be talking about today in my presentation, Changing Through Learning. So first off, I'm an accounting major, a first-year accounting major at that, looking to gain some entrepreneur knowledge. It's kind of the reason I took this class. The reason I took it was to figure out if there was a way to actually become an entrepreneur through my accounting major. Since it is my first year in the business school, I'm not too familiar with the business world and how entrepreneurs really work. And this class, Create, Lead, and Own You, was able to sort of teach me the different ways to become a better entrepreneur and sell myself as an accounting major. We've had different experiences in class. We learned to determine customer needs, as I previously said. We adapted a business plan in a very short period of time. We utilized our resources. We were given very limited capital, very limited beginning startup for a business venture that we had to come up with right on the spot. And for this venture, we had to actually determine our personal strengths and determine who was best at what. And we had to go out and utilize those skills to actually sell ourselves, sell our business. And those were some of the biggest aspects that we actually learned from this class. How to sell ourselves, what we're best at, what we have to offer our customers. And those were honestly some of the best information that I've learned from this class was just some of my strengths, some of my weaknesses, and how I could better my major through being an entrepreneur. So what we learned through some challenges and work in the classroom, we learned how to develop a personal business model, develop how we can reach our customer segments, how we can be asset towards customers, and what we can offer our customers or just even our friends or family. What do we personally have to offer those in the business world? So one of the aspects that we learned through actually having to go out and do this venture, we were able to come up with a cleaning service. We were able to figure out customer needs, what they wanted, and we went out, figured out that they needed their apartments clean. And so we went out and we cleaned apartments and we met customer expectations. One of the most rewarding things that we could have done this semester, and it was incredibly gifting to realize how to actually become an entrepreneurship with a snap of the finger. Our teacher said go, we went out and we did it. It's taught me valuable lessons about actually being an entrepreneur and how to achieve it. The way that we were actually able to achieve it was to kind of step back and reflect on ourselves as how we can become better in our major, how we can become better in what we have learned through the business world and what we have acquired through our schooling. One of the most important aspects of this class were the weekly reflections. Each week we were tasked with going out and just creating a 2-page paper about what we learned that week in class. Yes, our class was only once a week. Yes, it wasn't very long, but in that short period of time, we were able to learn and attain so much knowledge that we were actually able to construct these 2-page weekly reflections with a ton of substance and a ton of information. And I believe that these weekly reflections were a great way to actually step back and internalize what we learned. We learned through the entrepreneurship class. We talked about some of our passions, how we could bring these passions to people, how we can go out, market something that we have, and bring it to those that don't have it. We also discussed different qualities about ourselves that differentiate ourselves from other competition, from other entrepreneurs, some things that differentiate ourselves from the everyday accountant, something that I could go out and actually sell myself as an entrepreneur, as an accountant in the business world. And then lastly, we learned about the entrepreneurial mindset, what it takes to be an entrepreneur, how to reach the customer segments, how to sell ourselves with a 1-minute pitch, how to actually go out, sell ourselves, pitch ourselves in 3 minutes, use an elevator speech. Here's what we need to do. Here's what I'm looking to offer, and here's how we can do it. Those are some of the most important aspects of being an entrepreneur, was being able to sell ourselves. Another thing we did this semester was our entrepreneurial interview. I interviewed the owner of University Dogs on Millikin's campus, Zane Peterson. One of the reasons I actually interviewed him was because I enjoy going to UDogs. It's a popular company that every student on campus knows. Everybody in Decatur knows the name of it. And he was even a Millikin graduate. He took entrepreneurship classes. He went through the same things I did. And he was able to turn a business venture around that he actually created in class. And he was able to make it a real thing and actually materialize his ideas and use all of his entrepreneurial information that he learned. He was able to learn how to create his own rules. He informed me how tough it is to be your own boss and set your own rules, and then actually be able to abide by those rules when you have people under you that are employed. How important it is to remain under those rules that you have for your employees, and how not hypocritical it is to actually remain under those rules, and how difficult it actually is to be your own boss. How it's tough to not have to answer to someone, but to answer to yourself. It's really difficult because you're the one who has to set those limits, who has to set the requirements, and you don't have someone there for you to do it. Another insight I gained from Zane was kind of the negative effect of not planning. So not being able to budget, not being able to realize how expensive or how time-consuming it really is to start your own business. I mean, as an accountant, budgeting is one of the biggest aspects when it comes to running a business, starting a business, and factoring in factory overhead, how expensive the equipment is, how expensive it is to buy the inventory. These are some of the things that I really gained from my interview with Zane, is he informed me that you need to kind of take a step back and not take things for granted and try and plan out as best as you can. And one of the last things I learned from Zane is don't get discouraged. If you fail after 6 months, if you fail after a year, don't give up. Don't quit on your business venture. Actually be able to push through the struggles. Look at failure as something that you can build off of, not failure as something that will push your business idea down or even worsen your business idea. Lastly, we were tasked with building our own personal business model canvas. Initially, building my business model canvas was pretty difficult for myself. I didn't really know what some of my key activities were, how I could sell it to people, what I actually had to offer towards people. So initially, my business model canvas was pretty plain. I just looked at a couple of the key activities I offer as accounting. Some things that I have to offer is just financial organization, and some of the channels that I can actually reach students through is by using Microsoft Excel. As you can see, this isn't a very detailed business model canvas, and luckily my professor was able to give me feedback, and I was able to turn around and better my business canvas model for the future. So the final product was a lot more in depth. I was actually able to determine a couple more key activities, determine how I can provide what value towards my customers, how I can actually interact with my customers. These are some of the most important things when it comes to starting a business and running a business. Some of these relationships that you have with the customers. How am I going to reach the customers? What channels am I going to use? Referrals, reviews, social media, other things to actually put myself out there. Who actually helps me, my key partners or teachers, advisors. This class even is a key partner. It has helped me to learn and gain these abilities to sell myself as an entrepreneur and as a accounting major. Who do I help? I can help my friends, my family, teammates, classmates. I can offer this service. And it's really rewarding to actually be able to put all this in a business model canvas so I can actually create concrete facts about myself and be able to sell myself as a business. And it's one of the most important things that I learned from this class is how to actually sell myself, how to physically put all the aspects of what I've learned and what I have to offer into a business model canvas, and how I can actually construct that. So overall, I believe my experience in our entrepreneurship class was a rewarding one, and it's helped me to change through learning and through activities. So I'm extremely grateful for being able to take this class, and I look forward to continuing my career as an accountant and experiencing different ventures in the business/entrepreneurship world. Thank you, and have a great day.